It was the 5th year with John Wilson. He proposed to me and promised a grand wedding. I agreed without hesitation, eagerly awaiting that day. But before the wedding arrived, his infidelity came first. When the female secretary sent me a stack of photos, I still found it unbelievable. Yet, as John repeatedly left because of her, even bringing her home, back to my studio, I finally believed it. On the eve of the wedding, I replied to the female secretary's message. "Help me leave, and I'll give you my place." In the silent room, only my faint breath remained. Almost stopping, I collapsed to the floor, my face pale, trembling hands spreading out the received photos one by one. After laying them all out, they covered every inch of empty space in the room. 300 photos in total. All 300 were nude bed shots of John. My eyes fixed on these photos, tears dripping from the corners of my eyes, falling onto the naked woman being held, kissed, and tightly intertwined with John. I knew this girl, Sophia Miller, John's new secretary, counting from her first day on the job. Today was exactly the 300th day. My breathing drained from my lungs bit by bit, and I bit my lip hard to stifle any sobs. Just as I felt my faint breath might stop completely, my phone rang. Grand Court Hotel. "Sorry to trouble Emily Brown to pick me up and take me home. Just finished entertaining clients. Drank quite a bit." It was a message from John, after marriage, to reassure me. Whenever he went out for client entertainment, he usually had me pick him up, almost every night. We spent it with him holding me and expressing love. It was this high degree of overlapping time that made me never suspect the possibility of his infidelity. Wiping the tears from my eyes, I turned off the screen without responding. I just quietly gathered the photos one by one, stacked them neatly, and placed them in a hidden drawer. I did not go to pick up John, but 2 hours later, he still returned, drunk and reeking of alcohol. He was brought back by the driver. I stood up and went out, taking him from the driver. The moment I touched his shoulder, he suddenly flung his arm. "Not doing anything today. Get lost. My Emily is coming to get me. Get the hell away." After saying that, he slumped back onto the driver, adopting a defensive posture against anyone approaching. The air froze. My hand hung stiffly in midair, my face alternating between black and white. The driver reacted first, lightly patting John's back to wake him. John woke up with an irritated look, but upon seeing me, his eyes instantly cleared. "Emily." He didn't remember what he had said. Opening his arms and leaning against me, the driver left with relief, and the moment the door closed, John began murmuring expressions of love. "Were you waiting impatiently for me? Sorry, Emily, for making you wait so long again. Don't worry. Once this busy period is over and everything is settled, we can hold the wedding. I will definitely give you a grand wedding, make you the happiest person in the world, surround you with love, help you receive blessings from all under heaven, keeping you happy and joyful forever." These confessions of love, I heard almost every night he was drunk. They used to feel sweet. Now hearing it only felt grating. John Wilson sensed my stiffness. He looked up at me in confusion. But soon, he chuckled softly. Then, swaying slightly, he pulled a jewelry box from his pocket. "Look. Do you like it?" A delicate, sparkling diamond necklace slipped from his palm. I had seen this necklace before, when it was auctioned off as the only one of its kind. It made the news. I never imagined the person who bought it would be John Wilson. The drunkenness made him unsteady, his eyes a bit red. But that didn't stop him from carefully putting the necklace on me. He gently smoothed my long hair, struggling to control his trembling hands as he secured the necklace around my neck. "Emily Brown, I want to give you all the most beautiful things in this world. We must live well together. Let me love you. Let me always be able to love you. My existence is solely to make you happy." After saying this, he pulled me into his embrace. This hug held no ulterior thoughts, only overflowing love. The tears I had barely held back began to fall again. A delayed ache filled my heart, so heavy it almost stole my breath. I couldn't understand how he could love me while being entangled with his secretary. Even now, I clung to a shred of hope that everything was false. The next day, John rose early to make breakfast. By the time I got up, he had prepared a full table of food. Sandwiches without salad dressing, black soybean milk only, my favorite strawberries, and my favorite rib porridge. Everything matched my preferences. He always remembered clearly. Seeing me awake, John hurried over with a glass of warm water. Drink some water. Are you hungry? Come eat quickly. He led me to the table and, out of habit, began to care for me, watching as I finished a bowl of porridge. Since I had stomach pains recently, John often did this. In my peripheral vision, I caught John's loving gaze. I hesitated but finally spoke up. John, yesterday your secretary contacted me. She said she wanted to send me a package and tell me a secret. What did she mean by that? With a clatter, the spoon John was using to serve soup fell back into the bowl. His expression went blank for an instant, but he quickly regained his good husband demeanor. He set the soup in front of me and ruffled my hair. Emily, don't listen to such things. Probably just another troublemaker. I'll handle it. After saying this, he grabbed his phone and headed into the study. John appeared calm, but after over a decade together, I easily caught the flicker of guilt in his eyes. Plus, his hands trembled slightly as he rapidly sent messages on his phone. All of this pointed to his unusual behavior. As John entered the study, I followed right behind to the doorway. Through the slightly open door, John's restrained voice came through. Sophia Miller. Do I need to put you in your place? Who gave you permission to show up in front of my Emily? Think carefully about our relationship and whether you deserve what you want. This is my first and last warning. If it happens again, you're gone. The fury in John's eyes seemed ready to erupt, but moments after his voice fell silent, a video call came through. He answered, and instantly, the anger in his eyes was replaced by desire. John, I know I was wrong in making it up to you. See if you like this outfit. There are other surprises. As Sophia's sexy and provocative voice came out, he fell silent. He stared intently at the screen, and the rise and fall of his chest became more and more obvious. In the end, there was only a gnashing of teeth murmur. Wait. When John came out, Emily had already returned to the dining table. He rushed forward, put his arm around her head and gave her a kiss. Then he grabbed the coat on the chair and walked out. His voice was hoarse, with an indescribable emotion. Honey, have some more. There's a sudden contract to sign at the company. I'll go check it out. I'll bring you cake when I'm done with work. After John left, Emily didn't look up all the time. Her body, which had been holding back, couldn't help trembling violently. Tears still couldn't stop streaming down her face. She just ignored them and ate her breakfast bite by bite. If she could still deceive herself yesterday, then today, it was complete despair. She knew that this relationship was probably coming to an end. John didn't come back until evening, just like countless times before. He brought the cake that Emily liked, but when she saw it, she not only had no appetite but also felt extremely nauseous. Its presence was just a reminder of what John had done when he went out today. She didn't take a bite of the cake he offered and turned back to the room. John thought she was just tired and didn't suspect much. 2 days later, it was Emily's postgraduate graduation ceremony. John came early in the morning and kept following her around, taking care of things back and forth. As soon as he showed up, he attracted a lot of attention. Everyone was whispering about this man with such an obvious different aura. But his eyes only stayed on Emily, focused and affectionate. It seemed that he was not interested in anything else except her. If she hadn't seen those photos, she might have also been immersed in the world he created, thinking that he loved her deeply and only had eyes for her. She turned her head to avoid his gaze and forced a bitter smile. Just as the graduation ceremony started, John's phone kept ringing. It was his private phone. And there weren't many people who knew his private number. And there were even fewer who would keep calling frantically. You didn't need to think hard to know who it was. When the phone rang for the 10th time, he gave Emily an apologetic look, then turned and went to a corner to answer it. John's attitude when answering the phone wasn't very good. But after a few soothing words from the other side, his impatient mood was calmed down. His impatience was replaced by interest. And an indescribable emotion flashed across his eyes again. He hung up the phone in a hurry and came back to Emily. He took out a tissue and carefully wiped the fine sweat off her body. Then he whispered in her ear, "Honey, I've called a professional photographer to take pictures of you. My assistant will also stay here. If you have anything, just tell him. I've transferred a sum of money to your card. After you get your graduation certificate, have a get-together with your friends to relax. I need to double-check the details with the wedding planning company. I want to accompany you to take graduation photos. Anyway, we'll have a lifetime to be together. So it doesn't matter this little while." John didn't care about Emily's response. After saying that, he left in a hurry, taking bigger and bigger steps. Emily stared at his departing back for a long time without shifting her gaze. John had found another excuse for himself. He always thought he was flawless, but because he was too impatient, he forgot that he had used this excuse more than twice. She took back her gaze self-deprecatingly. Just as she was about to go for the group photo, she suddenly received a strange text message. "Come home. There's a surprise." Seeing the message, my eyebrows sank. This phone number had sent me text messages more than once. Since a month ago, she had been sending me strange messages. Sometimes it was a blurry photo, sometimes two overlapping hands, and sometimes an address. I used to think it was someone's prank. But now it seemed that it should be Sophia Miller, who was eager to take my place. Don't you want to see another side of John Wilson? I guarantee you've never seen it before. I'll leave the door open for you. It wasn't that cold in December, but I felt like I was falling into an ice cave, breaking out in a cold sweat. My mind went blank and I didn't have time to think. I ran out before I could react. It usually took an hour to get home from school, but I managed to cut it down to 30 minutes. I already knew it would be an ugly scene, but I still wanted to find out. After all, I still held a glimmer of hope, hoping that it was all Sophia's scheme to sow discord, hoping that there might be a misunderstanding, hoping that John, who had sworn to be mine only, would never break his oath. But when I got home and saw the scene inside through the deliberately left crack in the door, my pupils suddenly dilated. My breathing and heartbeat seemed to stop at that moment. I stood there stiffly, as if all my strength had been drained. My eyes uncontrollably stared at the two intertwined figures. I stared until my eyes ached and my heart felt like it had been blown into a pulp. They moved from the second-floor bedroom to the living room and finally stopped in front of my studio. "Mr. Wilson, I want to try the studio." As soon as Sophia's voice came out, John refused. "No, don't dirty my wife's place." But Sophia didn't give up. She wrapped her arms around John's neck and seduced him in a sexy whisper. "But I want to try. Mr. Wilson, I brought a lot of things today. The studio has good light, so we can see more clearly. Moreover, you can paint on me as you like." John's face froze for just a second, and then desire replaced reason. He picked up Sophia and walked into my studio. At this moment, my heart that had been floating for a few days finally sank into a pool of dead water. It was filled with a dead air and could no longer beat. I staggered out of John's house and squatted on the ground, vomiting violently. I don't know how long I sat there in a daze on the ground until my phone rang again, waking me up. It was Sophia again. "See clearly. Is your dream of marrying into a wealthy family over? Once you're awake, just leave consciously. The only one who can stand beside Mr. Wilson is me." I pulled the corner of my mouth self-deprecatingly. She was so eager to force me to leave in this way. I guessed that John hadn't given her anything good. So she was getting anxious. My legs were so weak that I could barely stand. Nevertheless, I still held on to the handle and slowly left this dirty place. On the slow but determined way out, I trembled as I replied to Sophia with my hands. Since you're so eager to take my place, help me leave. I'll give you my position. Sophia was very capable. As soon as she heard that I wanted to leave, she immediately started making arrangements. She bought me a plane ticket, arranged a new identity for me, and even offered me an opportunity to study with an art painter. Everything was arranged very properly. The plane was set to take off in a week, as if she was afraid that I would regret it. However, before the plane ticket reached my hands, it was intercepted by John. Honey, are you going on a trip? Why didn't you tell me? The company has been quite stable recently. I have time to go with you. I'm not at ease if you go alone. Before he could finish, I interrupted him coldly. I didn't go out. I bought the wrong flight ticket. Just throw it away for me. I regretfully looked at the torn flight ticket. The plan to leave had to be replanned. Although I explained, perhaps my change in attitude was too obvious. John Wilson was still very uneasy. He started putting down his work and stayed at home wholeheartedly taking care of me. He did everything himself, even when my gastritis worsened and I got up in the middle of the night to vomit. He cleaned up without any disgust, comforting me while distracting my attention with responses. Emily, unknowingly, we've been married for 5 years. We've known each other for over a decade. From the moment I knew what love was, I knew you would be my bride. I really love you very much, more than anyone else. And only love you. Emily, don't listen to any outside voices. Just believe in me. John uneasily tightened his grip on me in his arms, as if afraid I would leave. I met John when I was 8 years old. At that time, my foster father was drunk and abusive, and I ran away. Angering him, he threw me into the river, trying to drown me. It was John who passed by with a group of friends and pulled me out. Seeing me pitiful, he came to my house every day with friends to watch if my foster father would hit me. He also had his father send bodyguards. Whenever my foster father tried to hit me, the bodyguards would intervene. Although my foster father was angry, he couldn't afford to mess with the Wilson family. After a few times, my foster father calmed down, and I no longer had any external injuries. We grew up together since childhood. He was always good to me, giving me anything good he had. Naturally, we got together and got engaged in our sophomore year of college. If it weren't for Sophia Miller's appearance, I might have been immersed in this dream he created for me forever. Lowering my dim eyes, I didn't respond, pretending to be asleep. I'm not an actor, at least for now. I really can't act like nothing happened and get along with him. The next morning, John prepared to take me to see the wedding venue. On the way, to avoid talking to him, I closed my eyes and pretended to sleep. John just thought I was unwell. He habitually wanted to hold my hand, but before he could reach out, I stuffed my hands into my pockets. He paused, opened his mouth, but no sound came out. When the car, which had been moving steadily, suddenly swerved sharply, the huge inertia threw us both out. As soon as I rolled onto the ground, John pulled me up and held me tightly in his arms, using his body as a shield. His expression was stern, his face dark. I looked up at the rearview mirror and indeed saw 2 large vehicles chasing us. John has a special identity. This kind of malicious harm has happened more than once. I reached out to protect his head, but he took my hand and held it to his chest. Be good. Don't move. I'm fine. Stay down. As soon as his voice fell, there was a bang. The window was shattered into pieces, and shards of glass fell on John, leaving streaks of blood on his originally clean face and neck. Some of the spilled blood even splashed onto my face. Before I could react, the next second, the car was hit again, and John's head hit something unknown. He bowed his head and fell on me. After getting him to the hospital, John underwent a series of examinations. Finally, it was determined that besides some scratches, he only had a mild concussion. The feeling of surviving a disaster still leaves me a bit dazed. I quickly thanked the doctor and returned to take care of John. Emily, I'm really fine. Don't work so hard for me. What if you get tired? I'm completely fine. It's you who got scared. I'm sorry. Emily, I didn't handle everything well. I promise this is the last time. Looking at John on the hospital bed, pale with unhealed bloodstains, still blaming himself, my silent heart was once again slightly moved. Until now. I am certain that John still loves me very much. This love is tainted with so much filth. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught sight of the vibrating phone he was pressing down, and I forced a weak smile. Then, I made an excuse to go back and get some clean clothes. Leaving the room, after stepping out of the hospital room, I didn't leave but stood in the adjacent one. When Sophia Miller appeared as expected, I moved closer to the door. Find out which family dared to target Emily Brown. Do they think him dead? I can only wait 2 days at most. After that, they must pay the price. Through the door, Sophia's voice reached my ears effortlessly. John, isn't it exciting in the hospital? Why refuse? I saw that Emily has already driven home and won't be back for a while. Let me keep you company. This time, anything you want. Okay. Her response was met with the sound of clothes tearing. John Wilson cursed under his breath a few times and yanked her up from the floor. Soon, the sounds of rippling echoed from inside the room. My already strained nerves snapped completely amid the coquettish moans and angry roars. The rekindled hope was utterly extinguished at that moment. John was hospitalized for half a month, and by the time he was discharged, our wedding date had arrived. The wedding was grand, with countless details to handle from start to finish. John insisted I not worry about it, running around himself to confirm everything. Only when I was getting my makeup done did he find time to come see me. Do you like it? Is it beautiful? This wedding dress was designed by a friend of mine. It's absolutely perfect for you. Today, at our wedding, we'll witness each other at our most beautiful, then vow to be together forever. As he spoke of being together forever, John's eyes shone with joy and obsession. I didn't answer, just stared silently at the exquisitely dressed woman in the mirror for a long time. Wearing the wedding dress I'd yearned for years should have made me happy. But now it felt like shackles. John thought I was stunned with surprise and affectionately patted my head. All right. Hubby will go double-check the details one last time. See you soon. He kissed my cheek and left the room briskly. As soon as John left, the staff in the room erupted. Emily, you're absolutely stunning. You'll be the most beautiful bride, I dare say. In all my years in this business, I've never seen a groom as devoted as John. Emily, you're so lucky. You're bound to make the news. John's devotion. Your beauty. Every married woman will be green with envy. With John's planning, this is definitely the wedding of the century. When you make your entrance, flowers will rain down from above. I couldn't take in a word of the coordinator's praise, maintaining only a strained, polite smile. I knew I wouldn't go through with this marriage. The object of envy, the most beautiful bride, would never be me. I didn't want to spend my whole life jealous, sad, in pain, broken, trapped in emotions because of him, even if he was John. As the guests were nearly all seated, I made an excuse to send all the staff out. Alone in the dressing room, I waited 10 minutes before Sophia arrived. Her bridal makeup was already done, and she stared at me excitedly as soon as she entered. I stood up and handed her the wedding dress I'd already taken off. Her smile widened, and she pulled it on without a second glance. The plane tickets are in my bag. Don't worry. I bought several flights, each with someone on them. John won't find you anytime soon. There's also a card in the bag with 500,000 yuan. Take it. Once I'm settled, I'll give you more. The only condition is never to come back. Hurry up and leave. The wedding's about to start, and I need to go out." The wedding music began, and Sophia covered her face with a white veil, lifted her skirt, and walked out with her head down. Surrounded by the crowd, her steps were firm, without a hint of guilt for taking my place. As I watched her back, I saw a touch of naivety in it. Perhaps even now, she still believes that John Wilson has love for her, thinking that if the bride is changed to her, in front of so many guests, John won't cancel it for the sake of reputation, believing that without me, the lady of the Wilson family can only be her. I didn't shatter her dream. I just waited until she left, then grabbed my things, changed into her clothes, and blended into the crowd. Walking from the backstage to the main hall, I kept my head down and hurried past. But when I reached the exit, my steps involuntarily halted. I turned back for one last look at the radiant man under the spotlight on stage. At that moment, he was smiling happily, eagerly watching the slowly opening door. The door swung open, and the bride everyone had been waiting for gradually appeared. Instantly, the entire room fell silent. Huh? Why does she look different from before? The wedding dress doesn't even fit. Could they have switched brides at the last minute? Keep it down. John looks furious. Among the hundreds of people present, except for Sophia Miller lost in her own world on stage, everyone else wore grim expressions, especially John. He glared at Sophia, gritting his teeth. "Why is it you? Where's my wife, Emily Brown?" Sophia didn't care. She stepped forward, approaching John. "What, Emily Brown? I am the bride." "John." Before she could finish, John shoved her away, his eyes bloodshot. He roared at the bodyguards below the stage. "What are you idiots standing around for? I pay you to work, not go find her now." As the bodyguards left, Sophia rushed forward and hugged John. "Husband, don't look for Emily anymore. She's gone. It's our wedding now. Let's just follow the ceremony and not let." Hearing her voice, John's pupils dilated in shock, and he suddenly grabbed her neck, squeezing tight. Cough, cough, cough. "John, with so many people. Cough, cough. What are you doing?" John's ruddy face instantly turned ashen gray, a mix of shock and grief washing over him as his body trembled uncontrollably, as if bearing an earth-shattering blow. "Where is Emily? What do you mean she's gone? What did you do? Get married? To you? Take a look at yourself. Do you even deserve it? A shameless woman who uses her body as a bargaining chip. How dare you compare yourself to Emily? Didn't I warn you not to mess with Emily? I'm giving you one last chance. Hand over Emily now, or I'll make sure you wish you were dead but can't die." He stumbled momentarily, but his grip remained ironclad on Sophia. As her face turned purple from suffocation, John kicked her hard in the stomach. That kick was full force. Sophia was sent flying meters away, her purple face instantly paling to ghostly white. John clutched his head, swaying unsteadily. I knew it was a symptom of his concussion not fully healed. "John, why pretend to be so affectionate now? Didn't you raise me? Didn't you give me hope? You cheated first. Emily ran off after learning the truth. So isn't that your fault? Why blame me? How dare you pin all the responsibility on me?" John's eyes were blood-red, like a vengeful demon from hell. "Sophia, you're fucking asking for death. Why couldn't you just stay put? Why did you have to let her find out? Why did you wreck my family? My Emily is gone. What the hell am I supposed to do now?" Finally, after the bodyguards signaled they couldn't find her, John completely snapped. He tore through the wedding venue with a guttural scream, overturned the drink tables, and hurled bottles of red wine from the tables at Sophia. The sound of shattering glass mixed with agonized screams filled the air. The wedding descended into chaos, and the guests fled one by one, terrified of getting caught in the crossfire. I withdrew my gaze and slipped out with the crowd. John Wilson's concussion hadn't healed, and the added stress made him cough up blood before passing out. In the end, both he and Sophia Miller were carried away by an ambulance. I blended into the crowd, watching John, with blood staining the corner of his mouth and his face deathly pale as he lay limp on the stretcher. Being taken away, only after he vanished from sight did I head straight to the airport. Barring any surprises, this would be my last time seeing John. Holding the ticket Sophia gave me, I boarded a flight to another country. The flight lasted 13 hours. When I got off the plane, my phone lit up with hundreds of missed calls and thousands of text messages, all from John. Emily, listen to me. What Sophia said isn't true. I only have you. I didn't cheat. Sophia's just rambling nonsense. She's mentally unstable. Don't listen to her. I have no connection with her. Everything is her delusion. Emily, send me your location. Stand still and wait for me to pick you up. Okay. I'm begging you. Don't ignore me. I'm really scared. Emily. My head hurts. I didn't have the patience to read through the long explanations and pleas. Mixed in with his texts were two from Sophia. Emily Brown. You promised me. Don't come back. John did Chia the slept with me for a year. And now he suddenly remembers you and wants to ditch me. No way. No matter what. I won't leave. I'll fight him to the end. The past faded into blurriness amid my exhaustion. How John and Sophia tangled themselves up was none of my concern. Right then, I just wanted to settle everything and rest properly. I broke the SIM card and tossed it in the trash before heading to a nearby hotel. After checking in, I let myself sleep for a full day and night, waking up groggy and weak, my whole body numb and sore. Reluctant to get up, Sophia had given me 500,000 yuan, and the allowance John used to give me added up to several million over time. So my life wasn't exactly simple, renting a small Western-style house. I got myself settled and contacted the oil painting teacher Sophia had recommended. In this foreign land, far from feeling out of place, I found a sense of relief. All the pain that once haunted me stayed in the past. My mind cleared out the chaos, and for once, I felt calm. I threw myself wholeheartedly into learning with the oil painting teacher. Time flew by during my studies. Just scratching the surface of the basics took half a year. One day, as soon as I entered the studio, I sensed an unusually heavy atmosphere. Teacher Liu's intense gaze fixed on me, and he coughed lightly before handing me his phone. Puzzled, I took it, but my pupils shrank the moment I saw the screen. The video was from surveillance footage, grainy and unclear. Yet, even in the blurry frame, John's icy, sinister expression stood out. He gripped Sophia, in a hospital gown, by the neck, hoisting her emaciated to skin and bones, barely alive from torment, and shoved her halfway out the window. Last chance, tell me where she is. Otherwise, you don't deserve to live. Sophia kept slapping his arm, signaling him to let go. But John remained unmoved. Let me go. You lunatic. Are you trying to kill me? John sneered, curling his lips. He narrowed his eyes. Death lurking in their depths. I can afford to pay for it anyway. Sophia had given away my location. She finally talked, maybe realizing John would truly go for the kill. In the end, gasping for breath, she was dragged off by John's men. I checked the time the video was sent. 12:13 a.m. It was now 2 p.m. Barring any surprises, John should be arriving any minute. After thanking the teacher, I didn't stay in the classroom. I picked up my bag and left directly from the back. I didn't dare go home. Originally, I wanted to find a hotel to hide for a while, but just as I stepped out of the teaching building, a warm presence enveloped me from behind. Emily, I finally found you. I finally found you. Do you know how long I've been looking for you? Half a year in these 6 months. I haven't slept a single good night. Every time I close my eyes, I sink into the panic of losing you. I couldn't bear to close them. I miss you so much. Emily, I was truly wrong. Sophia Miller was just an accident. I promise you. It won't happen again. Okay. Please trust me. Come back with me. John Wilson held me tightly, squeezing so hard my waist hurt terribly. He buried his head in my shoulder, and his scalding tears soaked through my heavy clothes, turning cold against my skin. Emily. Sophia has been sent to a mental institution. She won't come out. No one will ever stand between us again. Give me one more chance. Just one last chance. Okay. Come back with me. I've had the wedding venue redecorated. This time, we'll have a proper wedding. Okay. John's voice was almost humble. A man who always held himself high. The first time he lowered his noble head to anyone. But I felt nothing. Not even numbness or mockery. I pulled away from his arms and turned to meet John's gaze. Half a year had passed. Head lost a lot of weight. His cheeks sunken, eyes protruding, looking utterly different from the confident man he was 6 months ago. Yet his changes didn't move me. No. And I don't want to. Do you really think that by dealing with Sophia, we can go back to how things were? John Wilson. Stop shifting blame. This relationship is rotten, and I can't accept it. You can't go back either. Now that you're sober, just leave. I turned to walk away, but John grabbed my arm first. He trembled all over, his eyes filled with fear and refusal. He shook his head, saying no, and even knelt down right there, holding my waist. Emily, give me one chance. Just one. For the sake of the 5 years we spent together. For the time I saved you when we were kids. I beg you. This will be the last time. The eyes of everyone passing by were fixed on us, unwilling to be a spectacle or give in. I hardened my expression. John Wilson, I gave you chances. When Sophia sent me those photos, I gave you a chance to explain. You told me she was just being restless. But then you got drawn to her photos and went to her. At the graduation ceremony, you said you had something to do, but you brought her home into our bedroom, into my art studio. Even then, I held on to a sliver of hope. I still didn't want to leave. But you. Right after protecting me in the car accident, you turned around and slept with her in the hospital, just as I was starting to soften. How can I forgive you? I really can't. Now, every time I see you, those explicit photos flash through my mind. Every scene of you and her together plays back frame by frame. I can't forget it. John Wilson. Let's just let each other go. John fell silent, only crying his heart out. I thought he would leave after knowing my stance. But instead, John stayed for half a month. During that time, he followed me every day, pretending nothing had happened, and moved into the apartment next door. He cooked meals and brought them to my school, showing genuine concern, reminiscing about the past, trying to make me see him again as the boy from my memories. Emily, your favorite pork rib porridge, made just right. Eat it while it's hot. Emily, remember when we were kids? You always got bullied but wouldn't say a word. So I had to go to your classroom and interrogate everyone. Emily, back in high school, I made a wish under the wishing tree, that you would be the only one for me in life. When will that wish come true? When John talked about the past, his eyes were full of hope and nostalgia. But I remained indifferent. I didn't stop John from wasting his efforts. But him repeatedly coming to my school caused misunderstandings. After the 3rd time he interrupted my class, even the best temper ran out. I put down my paintbrush and pulled John away. John Wilson, I'm not happy. All your actions have been troubling me, making me irritable. Your presence will make me never happy again. My tone wasn't very good as I said this, taking a gift box out of my pocket and placing it in his hand. It was the necklace he had given me before. Now, I returned it to him. John, go back. We're really over. This time, John didn't speak. He stood stiffly in place, looking at the necklace in his hand, his eyes reddening. His face was pale, his lips trembling. In what could be called a hot summer, he was shivering all over, almost unable to stand. His mouth opened and closed several times, finally pressing into a thin line. The two of us stood silently for a long time. So long that John couldn't bear it anymore and collapsed to the ground. And only then did I hear his voice. "I'm sorry." I knew that John understood. Once, he said that my happiness was the meaning of his existence. Now that I'm not happy, his existence has no meaning.